Warning, this information was correct on the 28th of April 2015. If you're watching this video and travelling after that date, please check ferry times and prices. This is Anthea from One Woman in China with some instructions on getting to the mainland from Hong Kong via the ferry. So the first little tip I have for you is when you come into Hong Kong, you will get a little ticket from customs. That's it in comparison to the size of my passport. And often they just fling it in your passport and don't make mention of it, and it's quite easy to lose, which I did once. Now, if you're coming into China and you already have a visa organised, it's not a big deal. But if you're getting a visa for China whilst in Hong Kong, you need this little piece of paper. Otherwise, you just cannot do it. So good idea just to keep it anyway. And again, they just throw it in your passport as you go through customs, and it's very easy to drop. So Canton Road, of course, very famous for Ocean Terminal, the Ocean Centre and Harbour City. The Ocean Centre and Harbour City provides fantastic shopping, and most people know that little strip. So as you can see from the map there, you're walking past that, away from Peking Road, if you like, and up towards the China ferry terminal. And the ferry terminal sits where the red star is, pretty much. And it's just a short walk from the Harbour City Ocean Centre shopping precinct. So from that point of view, very easy to find. And you see this door, this glass door, is where you want to go. All right, so you want to go into that glass door. And I'm just making a point of it because it doesn't actually look like a ferry terminal, and the first few times I kept walking past it. So you're looking for a door that looks like that on Canton Road. And when you go in, it sort of looks like a corporate elevator entrance. In fact, it is. And there's actually a really funny little Hong Kongese woman that works there that cracks me up. So she might have a chat with you. So once you walk in, you are looking for level 1, which is the departure hall. And there's even a little cute picture of a ferry. So you can't really go wrong. So you take the lift up to the departure hall. The departure hall will be busy and noisy. Don't worry. You're looking for ticket offices initially that look like this. And here's a little video of it. You'll see the names of the cities that the ferries travel to change up the top. It just said Zhongshan. There's Zhongshan 12 o'clock, you can see on the screen now. So don't panic if you at first sight you don't see Zhongshan, if that's where you're coming to. Those names and times of cities do change. Now, generally what's up there is the time for the very next ferry going to those cities. So if you are booking in advance, which I often do when I'm in Hong Kong, just go up to the window and say you want, for instance, the 8 p.m. ferry to Zhongshan or wherever you are off to. Generally, the ticket attendants have limited English, but at least some English. And in Hong Kong, you'll generally find most people speak at least a little bit of English, which is helpful. Moving right along, there again we have the ticket windows, so you know what they look like. There's a cityscape in the background and blue changing names and ferry times on the top. So just jump in the queue and tell them where you want to go and what time. Then you'll get a little ticket like this. Now, I generally pay for first class on the ferry. It's not much more expensive. As you can see here, it cost me 310 Hong Kong dollars. Converting that into Australian, it's about $45 for first class. And I think it's about $30 standard. So for an extra $15 you can get on first class, but completely up to you. Both are quite comfortable. Moving along, when it is time to go through customs, this is what the gates look like. So this is what the gates look like. And here is a close-up, and you can see Zhongshan if you are coming to Zhongshan. That's what the characters look like. Probably good characters to get to know if you are coming my way. And so you will go in, enter wherever you see that Zhongshan sign. Right there, they check your ticket, and you're there then you're in the customs area, and then you just stand in customs and go through the normal customs procedure. Beyond customs, there is a baggage check. They're not very diligent coming out of Hong Kong into the mainland, but you will put it on a conveyor and it will go through a check. Once you're through customs, there's a big board lit up that says which ferry dock to go to, and it will flash from Chinese characters to English. So just be patient. If it's all in characters when you first look at it, it will flash over to English. And if you get stuck, you've got your ticket, so you can just go up to any attendant and show them your ticket, even if they don't speak English, and they'll point you in the right direction, I'm sure. So on that level, just to show you, there's a Starbucks there, which is great. So it has Wi-Fi. If you're early, if you want to get your tickets and then sit and have a coffee for a while, you can do so. So if you're at the Starbucks door, looking into the floor, on the right-hand side are those ticket windows. And ahead, slightly to the left, are the gates to customs and the ferry. Now there is a baggage send area there. You can see a little arrow to that. I recommend, unless you have an enormous amount of baggage and you can't manage it, I recommend taking it onto the ferry yourself. Once you get onto the ferry, standard class is ground floor, if you like, when you first come in, and first class is up a short flight of stairs to first class. You enter the ferry generally to the back of the ferry. When you first enter, you'll see there are racks for luggage. So regardless of whether you're going into standard class or up the stairs to first class, just put your big case in there. It'll be quite safe, and just take your hand luggage up to first class or to your seat. There are ushers, and it is seated, so they'll just check your seat and point you in the right direction when you get on the ferry. Coming from Hong Kong to Zhongshan, Hong Kong Port, not Hong Kong Airport, Hong Kong Port to Zhongshan is about 90 minutes. Hong Kong Airport to Zhongshan is about 60 minutes. And it's quite comfortable. The seats are just smaller. And if you go into first class, where the seats look like this, they also give you a little bicky and a drink, which is quite nice. The other thing I recommend you do while you're on the ferry is ask for this arrival card, because it just means you can fill it out on the ferry, and it's much easier when you get to Zhongshan or whichever port you land in. You don't have to stop and fill it out there. If you just wave a ticket in the air, because chances are on the ferry they're not going to speak English, but so you know, if you say piao, piao essentially means piece of paper or paper ticket. So if you say piao to them and make a symbol like you're writing, they'll know what you mean and they'll get you the ticket. So the website to find ferry information on is www.cksp.com.hk. You can see it there on your screen, and it will give you timetables and the like. Just an interesting fact, fun fact, the ferries on the route to Zhongshan at least were actually made in Australia, I believe in WA. So on the ferries you'll often see photos of Australian landscapes and koalas and so on. If you think that's strange, that's because that's where the ferries were built. So here's the current timetable. So you'll see 8 times a day the ferry leaves from the Hong Kong port to the Zhongshan port. You see the prices there, and I just had a look at the current conversion rate. So first class at 310 Hong Kong dollars is $50.80 Australian at the moment. 230 Hong Kong dollars for a standard seat is $37.70 Australian. So you are looking at a $13 difference between cattle class and first class. In my opinion, it's worth the extra $13. So you can see there's 8, 8:30, 10 a.m, noon, 2 p.m, 4 p.m, 6 p.m, 8 p.m. The 8, 8:30, 10 and the 6 p.m. ferries are quite busy, and sometimes they do completely book out. So if you want to go on those peak times, it's often worth popping into the ferry terminal and buying your ticket ahead of time, just to be sure. If you go to that website and you are travelling directly from the airport, so if you're coming from any other country to Hong Kong and not visiting Hong Kong, you can actually transfer straight to the ferry, even without touching your luggage. So you would at the airport get your ferry ticket and they will transfer your luggage for you. And it saves a lot of hassle. It saves going into Hong Kong with your luggage and then to the ferry terminal and then to Zhongshan. So again, if you're not going into Hong Kong to visit Hong Kong, you can ferry directly from Hong Kong airport to the Zhongshan port, and it's very easy. If you want to do that, if you go to the website, see where the arrow is, just click on Hong Kong airport to China routes, and that will give you the times for the ferry from Hong Kong airport to the mainland. I haven't documented the process of coming from the airport directly to Zhongshan, but I may well do that on my next trip. Once you get to Zhongshan, I can't vouch for the other ports, but once you get to Zhongshan, you'll walk off the ferry into the main terminal. On the right-hand side, you'll see a police customs office, and on the left-hand side, you'll see a silver roller door, and that is where the luggage comes in if you did happen to check your luggage in. Otherwise, if you have your luggage with you, just follow the crowds and they'll soon lead you up to the customs desks. Again, they'll need this arrival card filled out. You just show them your passport, which will have your visa in it, and through you go. No drama. This has been Anthea from One Woman in China, and I hope that helps you to cross to the mainland quickly and easily. 再见.